Hey, James W. Falcon, right back at you here with yet another segment in my series, Inspiration Management. In this segment, I'm going to talk to you about tools. That's right, tools. Because as an artist, as a carpenter, as a human being, we all appreciate having in our possession the right tools to be effective in whatever it is we need to work. Well, that same process, that same application applies as it relates to inspiration management, specifically as it relates to the flow, that river, or looking and viewing inspiration as a person, a her or a him. When he or she prompts, whispers, gets our attention, we need to be properly outfitted so we can do the best job possible. I talked to you on the last segment about the recording process, so let me kind of start there and build forward. One of the things that's important for you to do is have the right tools. For example, I always, did I say always? I always have with me a writing utensil. And I am so anal about this process that whatever pencil it is that I've been using, I use that same pencil until I can't use that same pencil anymore. In other words, I don't have multiple, I have multiple pencils, but I use that one as a process. Why? Because I like the feel of it. I can control how the lead lays down on the page. That's just me. You don't need to be that way. I do the same thing with pens. I have a specific pen. I just recently bought myself a really nice, heavy, weighted pen for Christmas, and I keep that with me. So between that particular pen, hey, how many of us have a cup or some kind of a jar on our desk in our workplaces where we have multiple pens, markers, pencils? So do I, right? It's common. But this particular pencil and that particular pen are with me always. It's typically in my shirt pocket. Yes, I am just that geeky. Or it's somewhere in my bag, my satchel, or maybe it's near my eyeglass case. Typically, when I leave to go somewhere or when I'm coming back home, I carry a few specific tools. An eyeglass case with the eyeglasses that I want to use for that particular day, and always a particular pencil or a particular pen. Likewise, I have an affinity to what I'm going to use for the notepad process. I have been a marble notebook user for years, ever since I got out of elementary school, grade school. I love these things. You can pick these up at any dollar store here in the United States for under $1 in many cases. And I keep at least 3 or 4 of these brand new, fresh, in one of the drawers in a particular area here in my basement that I always reach for, and I use them thematically. I have a particular theme that I use each notebook for, or I may have one notebook that has a hodgepodge of information in it. Multiple themes, maybe some church-related things, or some encouragement is key, inspiration, motivational kinds of things. The point is I keep these things on hand and I use them. And so whenever inspiration strikes, I reach for my marble notebook. I did the outline for this series in these first 10 to 15 pages right here in my notebook. It's what I've been reading from this entire time. A pencil, a pen, a notepad of some sort. I also have some mini notepads that I keep tucked in different places. The point is, I'm never going to be caught without something to write with and something to write on. Do you know, I actually wrote a few of my inspirational booklets on the notepad of several of my telephones, my cell phones. I've had a couple of different cell phones. Right now I'm using an iPhone, but I've had Android phones over the years, and I have completely used up some of the space in some of those notepads. I wrote a few books while standing on the shuttle bus stop, headed to a particular company that I worked for as I was employed there nearly 3 to 4 years. So the point is that a writing instrument and something to write on are critical. Those should be the first few pieces of a checklist of tools that you always make sure you have on hand. Just as another point, as I'm doing these videos, have to make sure that I constantly move things around, delete pictures and videos that don't have any long-term use or significance, so that I have enough space on my iPhone's memory to be able to accommodate the inspiration that may strike for me to do some other type of video. It's something that constantly is churning, constantly moving around. Why? Because I don't want to be caught without having enough space, an instrument to write with, and something to write on. James W. Falcon, and I am so appreciative of your time and attention for this particular segment. Listen, join me for the very last segment where I'll talk about another very important, critical concept that you absolutely, positively don't want to miss. I'm going to wrap this series up about talking about the process of managing inspiration and how to turn ideas into something of significance. Until next time, we'll see you then.